Yeah.
Let me show you, ma'am. Going to another side of it, the sales side, which is your expertise. A lot of times you come across salespeople, and it's going back to that issue of being too rigid or scripted.
Yeah.
They know I have to talk about this apartment, I have to talk about this, and that's all they do.
Yeah. Or focus too much on the commission.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the real
Yeah.
danger zone for our
Yeah.
brokers over here. They're
Yeah.
too focused on the end goal, obviously being money. Is it important? Yes, of course.
They
course
lose
it's
the
important,
aspect
yeah.
of the touch with the client because they're so worried about the commission.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you, so like you're my friend,
Yeah.
and let me show you what we have for you. Because as we speak about, we work on communication style.
Yeah.
So you have to know your client in order to sell them the right way. Now, my character, I don't want to know that that's wainscoting and this is marble. I want to look. I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I told when I was looking for my apartment, don't give me anything that's not facing Burj Khalifa. I want to face west, not east. I want to be on this side
Yeah.
of the marina.
You've been really
I need
specific.
This.
Yeah.
I want this and this and this because I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine. What's the first apartment they show me?
One
Facing the
without.
other way.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just connecting and understanding. You don't need to tell me this is marble and this is the fireplace. I can see it. I'm
Yeah.
a different style. There are people that want to know everything, that the rug is this and this. I don't have time for that. I don't want that. So it's knowing the style of your customer. So that
Understanding their real needs, understanding the needs behind the needs.
Yeah.
What's driving that need.
I like what you just said there, the needs behind the needs.
Yes.
There's always a reason why
Yeah.
someone's obviously saying that.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key as
I'm
well.
buying the house because of an investment. I'm buying the house because my wife wants it.
Yeah.
So it's two different reasons.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And they're so different.
Yeah.
But for a salesperson, a lot of salespeople in general, it's like, this is a really good house, this is a really good building, and I'm going like, but does that really meet my
Anything to you. Yeah.
If I can add to that, one of my passions, because we were all ambidextrous in what we do and multitasking, I love doing interiors. So the first thing I always ask people when I walk in is, what is your lifestyle and what do you use the rooms for? Because
that's a very good one.
Because the first thing is they walk in, people, that's the living room, that's the kitchen, that's the dining room. Well, maybe you don't eat. Maybe you need office space there. So I always have them fill out a lifestyle questionnaire because I need to know what my client wants.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something that's funny. What they think they start out with is not the end result of what the apartment is and looks like, and they're so shocked because, I only like that color, and I only like, okay. So by the time I finish, it's totally different than what they wanted.
Yeah.
But people, we need to work on what people's needs are, the needs behind the needs.
Yeah.
I'm busy. I want this apartment. This is what I need.
Yeah.
Please listen.
Yeah.
So,
This is the living room, this is dining room. Seriously, I've got eyes, I can see it.
Yeah.
We always speak about,
but it's features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to
Not
understand
connecting the
and not
benefits.
to respond.
Well, I think as well, how we've obviously trained our brokers is, understand the motivation, then
Yes.
obviously the ability, and then the need, and know the difference between needs and wants.
Yes.
Because a want, at the end of the day, I'll drop the want as long as the need is fulfilled.
Exactly.
And I think that is definitely, real key with obviously what we're talking about here. So,
In everything.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And in sales, especially, a lot of times they kind of hang themselves over what is inexpensive, what is expensive, the price factor of it.
Yeah.
It's never about the price, it's about the value.
Yeah.
And how you're presenting. The value to me may not be about the dollar amount, it could be something totally different.
Yeah. Well, value is just so different to every individual.
Exactly.
The view facing that for her, no matter how inexpensive it is, I don't want that.
Yeah.
What?
I'm more concerned with finishing touches because I can decorate it myself.
course.
I can change the lighting and paint it myself. I don't care that that's grade A marble from Italy with the veins I can see it.
But they love bragging about those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That's the thing in general. Salespeople all over the world, they love talking about, you know what, this is.
I think it's also filler when they don't know what to say.
Yeah.
They just need to, and a lot of people, you have to say, a lot of people, you're good at it, I'm good at feeling out people, like you say, emotional intelligence. They don't develop, and we were speaking about Generation Z in another episode. the people that the real estate people that you're dealing with, a lot of them are the younger generation, so they're not taking the time.
I know, for the first time ever, I felt old. I was
like, what is this, right?
Yeah.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
They're on the phone, they're doing their stuff, and so they don't taking the time to really get to understand the client, and they're looking for the money.
Yeah.
So they're losing the client because there's that human touch is not there.
Yeah. Well, I think another problem with our industry is it's so fast moving.
Yeah.
A listing can go up and it can be pretty much sold very, very quickly, 24, 48
Right.
hours. So this is, again, the importance of being an expert in your area.
Yeah.
Because, again, with Dubai, how it works is obviously most apartment buildings will have probably a selection of floor plans, but every single one is going to be a copy paste.
Right, right,
unit.
pretty much, yeah.
So, we were obviously mentioning, how they'll pitch, obviously, say the kitchen. I've been on viewings with other agents and they've gone, this is the kitchen. And I'm like, oh, this is so painful. Painful. And then, and this is a door. And I'm like, oh God, what else are you going to say?
Really? I didn't know that was a door.
Yeah.
So
Whereas,
go ahead, sir.
I think the one key would be, when you watch, say, American agents have cracked it. Like I watched Selling Manhattan recently, like Ryan's program.
I love it. Ryan Serhant.
Serhant, yeah. And the way he gets his brokers to kind of go in, an American broker will be able to tell you the height of the ceiling, if it's a wall that can be torn down. I don't believe our industry here in Dubai yet has that.
No.
Yeah.
Because what Dubai has created is quite an easy sell product. We are seeing more renovation projects coming in, so people are basically buying, flipping them, and that does change it because then the owner has put a unique twist on it.
Yeah.
But really, I could basically, specialize in one building,
Cookie cutter,
and it's very easy. And I think that it makes them become complacent.
Yeah.
Whereas really, they should be, really delving into why did the developer put in this amenity, for example? What is the benefit? Where's the sun setting, for example? Or like sunset or sunrise. You're either one or the other, mate. Or And I think it's having that understanding, and I think it's that's also probably a byproduct of obviously our industry. Like I say, there is an element of copy cut, but also use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
And then there are brokers out there and they try and do everything. And I'm like, no, be an expert and be proud.
Exactly.
If you want to be an Arabian Ranches expert, then know every type of villa in there and people will come to you because, again, you hold an expertise.
Exactly.
So, and again, we can apply that to so many industries.
Yes.
So.
One of the
P factor.
Yeah, and it's all about people, basically. But in terms of the salespeople we talk about, a lot of them, I feel two biggest issues is the fact that they really don't listen. They listen to the superficial part of it, but they don't
listen to what the client wants.
And asking questions.
Yeah.
And it's not just asking questions from the customer. Like you said, if it's about this particular block of properties, do I know everything about it? Can I ask questions about it? Can this be broken down? Can I, but they don't do that. So they don't ask questions there, they don't ask questions there. Then all they do is, this is the door, this is a glass, and this is water. And I'm going, yeah, right.
No, it's like, did you have to come along?
Exactly, yeah.
And it's very funny for us because, as you know, you're very inspirational in supporting our real estate training series that we had. It's funny, the most successful companies are the ones that sent their people, not the ones that I spoke to and I said they just started and like, no, my guy said he knows everything.
Yeah.
And they're not doing so well.
Growth mindset again.
Yeah,
like,
it is
you
growth
you
mindset.
can't ever stop learning. All of us, every day's a school day, right?
Yes.
So if you don't have that kind of open mindset to allow that knowledge to come in, you're never really going to develop. And again, leaders, especially over in all industries, obviously in Dubai, really need to think, how can I, really kind of offer that to my team, and that essentially allows them to grow. Sure. And that is the true empowerment.
That is. And it's also about their own. I mean, I know we say leaders supposedly visionary, and I'm not so worried about the visionary part. I'm more worried about why are you so short term rather than long term.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to train your salespeople because you want to make the quick buck.
Yeah.
But the quick buck is not going to happen because your people don't know how to sell.
Yeah.
So it's the chicken and the egg kind of scenario where, like, if you don't teach them, they're not going to do it, but you still want to run after the quick sale.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But getting them to,
Yeah.
We actually had some people that came from their job. They took off to come to us for the day, and they said, my company won't pay for it,
Yeah.
but we want to
Yeah.
learn ourselves. And that was quite unique because they want to go the next level. And these are the people that will not stay in that company.
Yeah.
And they'll look for the
Not
next.
for long. Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
Exactly.
that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. What else? What other insights would you have for us in terms of going after this training business in general? People skills. I don't necessarily need to focus in on customer service or sales because what we do is all about people skills. I know she's mentioned my book P Factor a few times.
Yeah.
So basically, I wrote the book. I'm talking about maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, it was kind of published, but only because my daughter demanded that I publish it. And I'm going like, but I didn't write the book to
Yeah.
become a top seller or bestseller or whatever. I wrote the book because it was a collection of experiences from the training programs.
Okay.
And it was more about me writing the book, and then at different classes we have little games and competitions and stuff, and we say gift for you. It was more for that purpose. But
Okay.
my daughter says, no, you have to publish it. You're an author. I'm going like, okay, fine. But the book is all about. It's called the P Factor, and the P stands for people.
Okay.
Right?
I like
So
that.
it's all about the people factor. And in the book, I've broken it down to PEOPLE. Each stands for something. So
Okay.
P could be perception.
Yeah.
Again, if I don't understand, I look at something and I say it's a glass. I mean, this is a very old one, but glass half full versus glass.
Yeah.
To him, it's not half full, it's half empty.
Yeah.
So if I don't understand that perception or that perspective, it's very hard for me to connect with them.
Yeah.
So basically, the book, and it's filled with examples, daily examples
Yeah.
of, for example, one of them is a husband comes home and he realizes that it's been a while since he's actually been, nice to his wife. I mean, it's not that he's bad to his wife, but
Yeah.
I need to recognize her that and he brings a box of chocolates and a small box of chocolates and a bunch of flowers. And the wife gets really irritated. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? And he's like, what?
Do something nice.
What did you do?
I'm trying to be nice to you, right?
Yeah.
That's the first question that comes up. What did you do wrong? And I'm like, no, nothing. To cut a long story short, they eventually found out that she just had a meeting with her accountant this morning, and the finances were looking a little tight, and she had to figure out how to save money.
Yeah.
And he's gone and blown money on this, bottle of wine or a bunch of flowers, and
Yeah.
so people go through moods. People change.
Yeah.
You can have a meeting with Natalie in the morning and
She's
everything
fine.
goes smooth. So, and you have another meeting with Natalie and she's confident because, hey, I know Natalie. I had a meeting with her this morning. And this Natalie turns out to be like, whoa, what happened? Right? And that can easily happen.
No, it can happen.
Customers, we do that all the time. We
Yeah.
go to a customer, first meeting, fantastic. Second meeting, he's
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to talk to you.
This is
and he's-
distracted with something else.
Yeah, what happened?
You must get that, in your past on flights, because I find when you take human beings out of their natural surroundings,
Yeah.
which is some people enjoy traveling, some people don't.
Yeah.
Some people get flustered. I know my mom, as much as she loves to fly, I feel she's always a little irritated. Get this and that. You have to be that.
Yeah.
And so you have to deal with
Yeah.
so much.
I mean, a great example. One passenger came on and he was so aggressive, and the person there's aspects. We won't go into too much security aspects, but obviously, if someone is disruptive, we are trained to obviously restrain that passenger for obviously the safety of the other passengers, and obviously ourselves. And he pushed people out of the way and was getting aggressive. We're still on ground, and. The person called us all, going basically prepared for what we were trained for, and we all kind of stood in the background, and he's given him the warning that obviously they would do without going into too much into it. And the next thing, he's holding his chest, and instead of it being a security case, it became a medical case. He was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
He'd worked himself so far that he started obviously having a heart attack, and thank God we were still on ground. Paramedics had to come on.
Wow.
But, people travel with, loved ones in the cargo because, that happens.
Yeah.
People, might be traveling because they've just lost their job, and there's so much.
Yeah.
And I think, like I say, it's just having that understanding, and like I say, we keep bringing up people, but it is the key word, and perspective, and all of those. It matters.
People need to be dealt with in different ways.
Yeah.
One of the things in all our training, pretty much all our training programs, we talk about is don't use the same approach for everyone. Because there was a program, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. This is my days, olden days. You guys are young.
Thank you so much.
Different strokes for different
folks. Sure. The program, I remember that. Willis and I forgot the guy's name, Mr. Drummond.
Yeah, and we use that sentence because you cannot use the same approach with Liesa and with Natalie.
Yeah.
They're two different people.
Yeah.
And cultures are different.
Cultures are
We're dealing
different.
with all kinds of people from all over
Communication
the world.
styles are different. The thinking process is different. So even if you have a team of 5 people all reporting to you, it's 5 different approaches. Or it could be 5 different approaches.
Yeah. Well, one of your previous questions when you said, how does, a new business obviously enter here?
Yeah.
Dubai, for me, is the absolute melting pot. I mean, there's nobody that I haven't come across that's, basically every country seems to have a place here.
Yeah.
And that does come with, obviously, awareness, and you'll become so... like I say, international outlook is a huge aspect of obviously Dubai. And I love that because, whereas if I stayed in the small town in Birmingham where I'm from, I definitely wouldn't have met somebody from Kazakhstan and Fiji, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Mauritius.
Exactly, I wouldn't have had those opportunities.
Everywhere.
Isn't it funny now, because we do live here, and I'm 16 years now, I can tell you by just looking at somebody where they're from. So how do you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, we're living here.
And it'll be mannerisms.
The mannerisms, their style, who they're... And you traveling 65 countries, I really feel you can learn, and I wanted to say this earlier, you can learn a lot in books, but there's nothing like traveling.
Yeah.
Because then you learn different people, and I find that you become more tolerant of other people's cultures. Like living here in Dubai, like until I spent a month in Korea or a month in Beijing for the World Championship, I didn't realize, now you do because you're in Hong Kong, but they spit. And it's their thing. It's just culturally. And if it were here, like, or in my island, I remember, because we have a lot of, he was absolutely astonished how many people of Chinese on my island, because they own all the grocery stores. But I didn't know until I went to China, and I spent time, quite a long time, that they're squatters. They squat, and it's actually much healthier for you, by the way. But it's funny until you see it, and they squat, and they'll do the fruit and vegetables outside and clean them like that. But then they're doing that. Excuse me, forgive me. Because this is their style, but it's normal for them. For us culturally, it's not. And they do other things in board meetings. You're like, huh? Because culturally, personal body things. And I was like, huh? But then you realize it's normal for them. So when you travel, you understand so much more.
Your ignorance level drops.
Yes, it does.
That's
the best way to say it.
Talking about squatters, right? I mean, they like to squat, all right?
Yes.
It's not just the fruit sellers and whatever. If there are 2 people waiting for a third person to come, and that third person is taking too long, that's exactly what they'll do.
That's their position.
Because it's a very comfortable position for them. And I'm going like,
you see it everywhere. I actually, and this is just a quick funny story. I went to, everybody goes to the pro market, or you get something made, because in China you should have something nice that you should remember. So I was measured, and I had to go to the ladies' room. So, they still have little latrines where so I walk in to go to the bathroom. And, we culturally close the door. All the doors are open, and they're actually talking to each other while they're going to the bathroom. So okay.
This is something I'm not used to.
I'm accepting of it because I spent time, I lived there. I lived in Wuhan, I lived in Beijing for a short time. During the World Championships, we had to stay there because the athletes were there, etc. And then Beijing twice, because it was World Champions, Sochi and Russia. So I'm grateful. I've had such amazing experiences, but I've learned different cultures, and I know what's acceptable. So I think, like you say, there are people factor. You're more tolerant when you can understand, or like we said earlier, a boss. If you're a boss, you're in a position, management position. You can understand your employees, your staff, or your team if you understand culturally what's going on. So what's good for maybe the American? I'm a little bit of everything, so I understand my Dominican background. I understand my French and my Dutch background, my Caribbean background, my New York background. We're all different, so I'm a combination of everything. So I'm more tolerant because I know what's accepting. So so when it comes to training, like we do, we have a mélange of people, which is a huge melting pot. And I love Dubai for that because it's a little of everything.
The best example I can give of cultures trying to communicate with each other was whenever I do training programs for companies in Hong Kong that also have offices in India. Then one very common question is, we don't understand your Indian counterparts. I don't know what they're saying. The Indian counterparts, when you do training for them, they go like, what are your Chinese people doing? I don't understand. Raju, you're Indian. How do you communicate with them? Chinese are saying the same thing. Raju, you are so Chinese. I'm going like, what? You're so Chinese. How do you talk to our Indian colleagues? I said, it's all about the communication process. Are you really trying to understand and listen to them? Or you just want to get your word in?
I just said to him, it's funny.
Exactly.
We're training in the Caribbean, but in my island, we do have a huge community of Chinese. So I was very excited. I said, Raj, we can do training here. So he goes, wait, find out if they speak Cantonese or Mandarin first.
Because I don't do Mandarin.
Yes.
I'm from Hong Kong.
Yeah,
So Cantonese, I can run my whole program in Cantonese, no problem.
Fluent.
But Mandarin, nah. I could send someone, but it wouldn't be me.
I tried to learn Mandarin. I lasted 2 weeks. So, it's
I know
very
just
tough.
about CSA and a bunch of other little things. But so I called my little clique, my Chinese clique, the young that are now Generation Z. I said, do you guys speak Mandarin or Cantonese? I was like waiting for the phone, and I see, the dots coming up that says type in, please. There's a Cantonese. Like, thank you. So everywhere I took him, he needed some cigarettes one day, and then he needed something else, and he goes in. But because he's speaking Cantonese since he's 5, he makes the inflections and the vowels where they have the length. So you could say ah, or you could say ah. It means something different. He's perfect. So when they walk in, yes.
on the phone, I mean, people, and then when they meet me, they go like, no, that's
not you. Yeah. They were shocked. So the lady at the counter is like, huh? Where are you from?
It was so funny. I saw her with cartons of cigarettes. I said, don't you have individual packets?
Say it.
And I said it in Canada. I said, 你哋有冇淨係一包啊?
She almost fell on the floor.
She literally was like, 你講廣東話嘅? Oh yeah, I come from Hong Kong. I live in Hong Kong. So 我喺香港住嘛，所以我好熟㗎咁.
She almost died.
Wow! So then the wah comes out.
So inshallah, we're working on doing a transformational leadership and supervisory class for the Chinese community in the Caribbean. So I think it's going to be exciting.
Yes.
I love that.
Because they're not expecting him, that's for sure. I actually told him by the next trip, not this trip, the next trip, he'll probably be the president of the association because he can talk to everybody.
I mean, again, that's why I love business. It's like, it's finding your niche.
Yes.
And that's such a unique niche. Like, who would really ever think to do that? But there's always opportunities everywhere.
Always.
With what I do now, I always say I like real estate. There's no doubt about that. I'm very passionate about it. I'm passionate about Dubai, but I love business. And, granted, I can't be in every industry, but I get to kind of interact with people. And it's just, again, like I say, spotting opportunities is what I love to do. And it's just that connection.
The universe will give it to you. It's like that click, that little spark, and you go, oh, and that's what happened to you. You realize it was enough, and it's time to move on to the next. A lot of people sit in their comfort zone, and they stagnate. So I'm very happy that you got that. So
happy for you.
I want to ask her maybe 1 or 2 last questions because we have about 7 minutes left, 8 minutes. And the conversation has been amazing with you. I'm grateful how we met. We're people. Look how I met you. It was a room full of people, and there was just something about we just clicked, and it's. I would say 4 or 5 years, maybe now. The time goes so fast.
It is, yeah.
You know, and we
is.
become great friends, and that's just how it is. It's being a people person, opening yourself up to experiences. And this is what we also teach. When you can be open to communicate, you know, this is everything. It's just everything.
So if you have a question for her, I'll let you go ahead. Otherwise,
you can go ahead.
I'll go into a very direct question. She mentioned the key word earlier. She said, you know, she's all into this collaboration and say. So the question would be, how do we collaborate
with you?
So ultimately, again, what I'm creating long term is ultimately a big directory of all the international partners that obviously we're building.
Right.
But essentially, it allows you to, you know, indirectly sell real estate without selling it.
Right.
So basically, partners, whether they're individuals or companies, they're basically kind of signing up with us, and then we give you a lifetime obviously opportunity on that network that you share. And that's important, because what I do find with partners is initially people test the market, because especially if they're international, they don't fully understand Dubai, they've seen Dubai, they're intrigued by Dubai, so they'll test it with something smaller. Now, obviously that's great, you get paid on that, but then obviously 6 months down the line, that investment's worked for them and they then buy something much bigger.
Yes.
Obviously with us, you obviously get paid lifetime on that.
I tried with you. We had a great client. Obviously, they went with someone, but she's very swift, and she said, "Here's the contract right away, and I'll leave it to you if you have people in Hong Kong that want to buy." She's the one.
And I think, you know, going back more to kind of what I do, like, it's more, Dubai is such an incredible place, and you know, we do travel a lot. I mean, obviously, you're both going to Caribbean soon. There will be people that, you're from Dubai, and I've looked to go over there, and you know, you'd never know people's situation. People have come into inheritance.
You're on my list. Yes, you're on my list. You're on my list.
Yeah.
So
there actually are a few
in Hong Kong. You will find a lot of people who absolutely, if you look at them, there's no way you would believe that he owns anything.
Yeah.
And he owns 6 apartments, and Hong Kong is not exactly an inexpensive place.
One of the most expensive real estate markets in the world.
Exactly.
And he owns 6 properties, and you're like, wow. Yeah. So definitely Dubai, I think, is a...
Well, he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. No. Most people like that.
I think Dubai is, what you said about Dubai is, people are intrigued. Yes, people actually have heard that it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but the problem is... a lot of times people also have this question mark about, is it really a good thing? Because if everyone's saying good thing, do I really believe it?
Is it really as good as they claim it is?
The skepticism comes in, so they're like, test it out. And that's why you have the testing out